Hello everyone, this is Samirin, and in this video I actually want to talk about a few tips and tricks. I might do a more regular, more episodes of some tips and tricks for new people joining us as Toy Box artists in 3.0. I have been recently going through a lot of the toy boxes being made by the new artists. There's a lot of new talented artists coming in and really loving what you're all making. But there were just a few things I've noticed in quite a few toy boxes that I wanted to talk about and maybe give some suggestions. If you want them, you want them. If you don't, you don't. Um, and a few ideas of how to improve. So, the first thing I've noticed is a lot of people are using the templates, and that is absolutely fine. I don't use templates myself, but when you're learning the game, that's what the templates are for. They're there to teach you or help you create challenges and teach you how to make challenges and things like that. And that is absolutely fine. And I've even noticed most of you are hiding all the logic from the templates and everything like that. And that is beautiful as well. It's best when you keep the screen as clean and tidy as you can and hide away all the bits and pieces that are actually making it work. But I have noticed a lot of you leaving the challenge maker out there. And the challenge maker, if you're building a really beautiful box, the challenge maker is kind of fugly and it's kind of just an obvious eyesore that's standing out there. Like, look at this thing. It's huge, it's odd, and really, you don't need it there. And so, first thing we're going to do is we are going to do a little demo on hiding that challenge maker as well as all the rest of your logic. So, a challenge maker, let's just put a locator up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to create, actually I could use another locator, I'm going to put it right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this stone face guy to actually give you the challenge. Because he is a lot more fitting. You could put a sign, you could put a townsperson, you could do anything to actually start that challenge maker. But for me, I'm just going to use old frowny face there because, well, I kind of like frowny face. So we're going to take a dynamic trigger and we're going to set up basically the logic for a quest giver. So we're going to use this locator. And what else should we put down? Let's also put down a radar marker to make it pretty obvious that you gotta go there. And let's put down a context button. Okay. So what we're going to do here is we are going to hook him up. The radar marker is also going to be hooked up there. And let's give it a yellow question mark. Beacon location is the locator. And let's turn it on active. That should be higher up. Let's put it right there. There you go. That works for me. And the dynamic locator, or dynamic trigger, sorry, we're going to hook it up also to the locator. And let's make the trigger distance, since it's up there, let's make it about 6. That should be good. And we're going to do the old, if someone enters, we are going to activate the context button for that player, the triggering player. And if someone exits, we're going to deactivate. I'm also going to add another feature that I use a lot with a dynamic trigger, is I'm going to add in the feature that if it's turned off, then I want to deactivate that context button from all players. I just like to keep it neat and tidy. And I'm also going to say, if I turn it off, I want to deactivate the radar marker. And if I turn it on, I want to activate radar marker. There we go. So all nice and smiley. And we're just going to set it up so this says I don't know, talk to Grumpy Face. Sounds about right to me. Talk to Grumpy. Let's see if it'll accept my text. Yay! Alright, so talk to Grumpy. And we want the prompt location on the player. Beautiful. I am liking this. So let's just double check that this is all happy. I'll walk up, talk to Grumpy, I walk away, talk to Grumpy goes away. Excellent. Now, we're going to use anyone pushing that talk to Grumpy button. So when it's pressed, we are going to send a start message to that challenge maker. And this locator right here is going to be where the player is going to start. So we're going to hook it up into the all position, the first option here on the challenge maker. Now on the challenge maker, we simply then have to set it to make sure that the start location is all players at one location, so they will now all appear at that locator when it starts. I'm not going to bother putting a title or description in, but there we go. Now we have, and let's just put in a way to finish this challenge really quick. I'm going to say push the button, and you have successfully completed the challenge. Just because I want to complete the game. So let's go talk to Grumpy Face and see how this works out for us. And there we go. Start challenge, the title, the description, and we're starting at the locator we selected. We get our little countdown. I run over here. I'm going to push the button. Yay! So that is a great way to hide your challenge maker. It just makes your world look a lot more realistic, and it takes away I find the challenge maker kind of breaks the illusion of the box. Here, this way, if this Grumpy Face guy fit into the theme of the box, you went and talked to him, you start the challenge. Beautiful, excellent. I love it. So that is one of my first tips, is hide that challenge maker, make it a little more realistic looking. Make it look like you're actually, someone's directing you to do the challenge, as opposed to just standing on that challenge maker. Just brings more of a story into your box, more realism, or so I find. Now the next thing I'm going to talk about, that I've seen in quite a few boxes, is it's good to see people are liking to use toy box stores, but there's one little, oh man, there it is, silly me. So we're going to throw down a quick toy box door, and as I've said in the actual tutorial on toy box stores, never do what I'm about to do, which is just create a new toy box right here in this toy box, because if that toy box door glitches out, you're going to completely lose any toy box beyond this point. But since I'm just testing, I'm not that concerned about it. So, I've seen a lot of people, you have your toy box door, the player goes through, they do their challenge, they come back through another toy box door, and they appear back here on the end. Well, if you want it to look more realistic, there is a way to do that. And we're going to take a locator, and we're going to put it right in front of this door, and this little blue knob on the locator, if you can see it right here at the pointing to our left right now, that shows what direction a player or a spawned object is going to be facing that is hooked up to that locator. Now with this locator, I'm now going to go into properties, and you'll see door destination tag, and you give it a number between, I think it's 1 and 10 now. So let's give this one the number 1. Now, why I did that is because I'm going to travel through this door, and on the other side I'm going to put a door to come back to this level. I'm just going to drop another door. And I'm going to, yeah, it's already pointed back at level 1. Beautiful. So I'm just going to first off just walk through this door, and I'm going to appear on that in symbol, which I've been seeing in a lot of toy boxes. And sometimes that symbol is way away from where all the toy box doors are, and it just gives you a weird sense of how did I appear back here. So now I'm going to go through the door again, and this time I'm going to point the door at the locator we put in front of the door in the first toy box. And under Properties, Destination Locator Tag, I'm going to point at Destination Locator Tag 1, which is the number I gave the locator directly in front of the door in the other box. So now when we walk through the door, instead of appearing on the in tag, I'm going to appear at the locator right in front of this door. So it looks more like I actually just came back out of this door. That's just another tip and trick I have for you, just because I find it looks a lot better when things like that happen. You walk through a door, you peer out the other side of another door. It's when you're using the physical doors yourself, I find that's the best way to do it. Now the other way you can always do it is just hide the door and send a connection link to the door saying make the character travel through the world. But if you're going to use the door, I would just suggest using a locator in front of the door as well, just to always make the player appear back at the door they just came out of. Now my third main tip and trick that I've noticed, and this is less of a noticed and more of just I think it's a good idea, is using templates. Absolutely fine. The templates are there for a reason. They're a great thing to use to add challenges and stuff to your door. But what I would suggest you do is I suggest if you want to learn the logic better in the game, and it can be very daunting to learn, what I would suggest you do is find a template that does something that you don't know how to make the game do using the toys yourself, and put that template down and then copy it. When I say copy it, I mean quite literally go into the template to the individual toys and actually build an exact duplicate of that template by yourself to the side of it, and then try to make it work exactly the same way. And that's going to mean going into the individual toys and checking how the connections are and copying the connections. Now it sounds like you're just copying, and you are just copying, but it is going to help you see better how all these toys are linked together and what they're all doing. It will really help you understand the logic of the game better if you manage to perfectly duplicate a template by yourself. And when you're doing that, do realize that these question mark are developer toys. You don't have access to them, and all they're really meant for is for the player to stand on, and it will explain somewhat how the template works. So don't worry about copying those. You can't, and they're not really hooked up to anything anyway. But that's a suggestion I would have that would really probably help figure out the logic in the game to help you, because at times you might find a template that's really close to the type of challenge you want, but you want it to do something different than what this template does. And if you can copy that template, then you know all the connections, and you could probably figure out how to modify it to do exactly what you're trying to get it to do. So that's all I got for now for tips and tricks. If you have questions, feel free to shoot me messages, send me a Twitter message, whatever you want to do. I'm generally pretty good at responding. If there's other tips and tricks people would like me to see, like me to do a video on, or specific items or things they can't figure out how to connect together, let me know. But again, this has been Cimmerian, and this has been Volume 1 of Tips and Tricks in the Toy Box, and I hope it's been somewhat helpful to you. Have yourselves all a wonderful day.